being a Marine for 30 years and a Sergeant Major, I kind of had a mindset that it was a Navy school and how hard could it be, but when I actually went through it, it really surprised me how difficult it really was. My name is Mike Tuttle. I'm a SEER instructor. The most important thing I do here is in my phase, is the field force phase, is to teach the service members here the skills that they're going to need to survive in the event they should find themselves as an isolated person in any mission that they might find themselves on.
Okay.
You're going to find yourself in a situation as an instructor here, particularly on the field force side, where you're going to be out here possibly as the only instructor with a group of anywhere from 8 to maybe as many as 12 young service members out here that are really counting on you to take care of them and teach them the things that they need to know. So you're going to have to have a lot of self-discipline and a lot of initiative in order to fill those big shoes to take care of these young men and women that are out here in your charge while you're training them. The skills that we teach here, we teach them how to use them in what we call a non-permissive environment. That's an environment where you're going to be restricted in the things that you can do because of enemy situation. So not only is it basic survival skills on such things as how to start fires, how to procure water, how to procure food, how to build shelters, and how to navigate, but how to do that in a non-permissive environment. Not only is it physically challenging for them out here, but I would say that it's probably just as much mentally challenging for them, especially during the winter months here, because not only are you dealing with the stressors of not eating, the physical exertion that takes place up here. We do a lot of movements, but the mental aspect of that is it's cold here. The nights are long. The weather up here can be very extreme and moody from one extreme to the other, and that puts a lot of mental stress on the students. And then the thought of the unknown. They just don't know what's coming up next, and that's part of the training here. Is this field force portion of training is really meant to, in certain ways, meant to debilitate them, to prepare them to get ready for the next phase of training. So we do everything that we can, not only to teach them the really important things that they're really going to need to know, but at the same time, we put them in an environment that's going to put them in a condition physically and mentally that they're probably going to experience if they actually are an isolated person. So to sum it up, we try to teach the people that come through here, if they do find themselves in a situation where they are captured, to resist to their utmost, but in the end, to return with honor, to do the right thing.
What you're going to want to do is turn the snowshoe, the bottom of it, towards you. All right? Don't use the bindings because you could break something, but just turn the snowshoe towards you, and then that are just using the snowshoe. Does that answer that question? Awesome. All right, so everybody's good on the snowshoe.
Hey, Carl Diggity. What's up? What up, KD? Colonel was happy. I don't know, I talked to him. Oh, nice.
You did that, didn't you?
No, I did not.
I think that the obstacle course is a great evolution, and I think a lot of people don't take advantage of it. The purpose of the water obstacle course is to help you identify your weaknesses. If you can't carry your weight, it's going to help you find momentum. If your upper body strength is not there, after doing it over and over again, you're going to end up building that strength up to make it through your evolution. I think that not just this obstacle course, this water obstacle course, but any obstacle course. It's great for agility. I mean, you're going to be a Navy SEAL. You can't just be good at one thing. You can't be good at two things. You have to be good at everything.
The purpose of an obstacle course would be to test a person's strength, their overall ability to overcome a fear, and their endurance. You know, guys on the sideline are motivating you, yelling at you, telling you to get up that rope, get across that rope, you know, climb that ladder. So yeah, yes, and then no in the end, because it's on your own to really dig down deep and pull out what you have inside you to complete the obstacle course. And my wounds will heal faster than my pride. You know, if you give up and quit, it's a huge check in the box against your pride. So, you know, you got to get up there. You got to put out. You got to represent. So, your wounds and the temporary fatigue that you're going through, that'll come and go. But your pride kind of stays with you forever.
I'm not getting off the obstacle until my body fails. It makes me get off. And then I'm going to go right back up again and try it again until I actually cannot do it anymore, until my hands are bleeding. I just don't want to quit. I just think that if you're going to quit on this little obstacle, how are you going to do on other obstacles in life?
Helicopter pilots of the Army's 25th Combat Aviation Brigade trained with the Pearl Harbor-based cruiser USS Lake Erie. This training helps each branch of service prepare for joint missions, including humanitarian assistance and disaster response.
Everybody knows how to fly an aircraft, but not everybody can land them on the ship. Not everybody can fly at higher altitudes. So what you want to do is you want to try and make a pilot a better pilot by giving them a wider range of abilities. So if a guy can learn to land on a ship, it makes him a more important part of that team, and it allows him to kind of take that training and then expand on it, make them better at what they're doing, or teach other people how to do it.
From the Defense Media Activity, I'm Petty Officer Ian Cotter.
So another thing that you can expect here, you can expect a lot of running, a lot of swimming, and a lot of strength and conditioning. 5 days a week you're swimming. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday you are swimming and you are running. Tuesdays and Thursdays you are swimming, and then you have strength and conditioning. And it's relentless. Every single day, 2 a days.
If I was to talk to somebody that was going to, preparing to come to this course, I'd tell them, start training hard now, start getting used to running, start getting used to a lot of push-ups, pull-ups. Those minimum standards, blow those out of the water, because those minimum standards are just the minimum. Make sure you're above and beyond. That's all you can really ask for.
How do you guys feel? Oh yeah! All right, what we're gonna start out with. We're gonna start out with pull-ups. Okay, Reds, you have 60. It's a target set today. Reds have 60, Blues have 50.
I was crushing guys at dive mode PT. Then when I come here with 273 there on week 6, and I'm gonna be like average, above average. So I know the program was working.
A lot of guys didn't want to come. They felt they were ready to go straight there. But it's different than training on your own and training with a large group of guys. Build a camaraderie, get a good chemistry before we go. I think it's a really good idea.
Keep it up now, keep it up.
The coaches are great. They're actually positive motivators, and that helps a lot of guys who are not as strong. And it's helped every single guy.
Try to stay up in that 3 to 6 inch range under the water so that you're not getting too deep on your glide phase, all right?
60 reps for red, however you want to get the pull-ups, as long as there's no kipping involved, and the least amount of sets as possible.
They're training us, they're fueling us, giving us everything we need. They're giving us all the tools to be successful out there. It's just whether you use them. So it's everything I definitely expect it to be.
When a man sets out to be a soldier, he hopes to accomplish many things. He wants to serve his country. He wants to carve out a career for himself. He wants to see something of the world. He wants excitement, a challenge. He wants to prove himself a man.
All right, hit it. I think I've accomplished all of this. I've got my campaign ribbons and my sergeant stripes. I've served on 3 continents and been in 15 foreign countries. I've had interesting assignments. I've worked with top-notch people. I've been given more responsibility than I'd have dreamed possible. I've had a lot of satisfaction out of being a soldier. And I think I've been a good one. One thing I'm positive of, in my 14 years in the Army, I've never had a more satisfying job than I have now. As a drill sergeant. A year ago, I didn't know what a drill sergeant was. I was sitting in a PX in Kaiserslautern, Germany, wondering where the Army was going to send me next.
It was then that the Army's new drill sergeant program was just getting underway. The drill sergeant concept came about following a directive from the Secretary of the Army to U.S. CONARC, Continental Army Command. His orders were to revitalize Army training, and in particular, basic combat training.
There's no doubt that our analysis has proved that the basic combat training program can best be revitalized by the assignment of more and better sergeant instructors at the lowest possible level. This new basic combat training program shows much promise. As you know,
through the Office of Director of Individual Training, CONARC re-evaluated its own methods.
Effective, good, well-motivated combat soldiers. The assignment of additional or more sergeant instructors with their hour-to-hour and day-to-day contact with the basic combat trainees will produce more effective soldiers who have a better attitude towards the Army.
CONARC's research revealed that the early attitudes formed by recruits influenced their entire Army career. Soldiers who had a positive attitude toward the Army generally looked back favorably on basic training. So a very simple hypothesis suggested itself. If you could improve the basic training environment, you could improve the performance of the entire Army. For the recruit of today is the frontline soldier of tomorrow. The decision was to change from a system of centralized training committees to unit-level instruction, which is considered the prime recruit training level. And to provide the personal contact needed, CONARC created the role of drill sergeant. The man underneath the broad-brimmed campaign hat became the heart of the new system. The best non-coms in the Army were needed for this program, and CONARC set out to attract them.
When my CO in Germany said he was recommending me for drill sergeant school, I didn't know what to think.
Met them all, and I'm sure you'll find the standards very high. As you know, the higher the standards, the better the reward. And Department of the Army doesn't expect you to get out there and put out all of this effort without some rewards, some of which will be free laundry, issue of extra uniforms, and it is a stabilized tour, which will mean something to you as a family man.
Sounds real good, sir.
And another advantage is the promotions. There's additional promotions looking out for the drill sergeants, and this will probably offer one of the biggest challenges to your personal leadership that you've ever experienced.
When I returned to the States, I was assigned to drill sergeant school, one of just 6 in the whole country.
Good morning, men. Welcome to Drill Sergeant School. You're all top soldiers or you wouldn't be here. A lot of you have been in the Army and in charge of troops for a long time. Many of you have been away from the basic fundamentals for a long time and are rusty on the finer points of training recruits. Is that correct?
As far as the Army is concerned, there is only one correct method to conduct dismounted drills. To give PT. To mount guard. At the Drill Sergeant School, they review every subject taught in basic combat training. They study concepts of leadership and motivation, and most important of all, every student is taught to be an instructor.
The complete nomenclature of this weapon, the M14 rifle, is shown on this chart. Later on, you will learn to disassemble and assemble this weapon. The M14 is magazine-fed, air-cooled.
It is also a requirement of the new program that all officer personnel assigned to basic training regiments be similarly indoctrinated. At each of the 6 drill sergeant schools, there is a short course for company-grade officers.
In order to indicate to you the magnitude of your responsibilities and the need for superior training, I want you to note
Lieutenant colonels and above, who are assigned to Army training centers, are required to attend a 3-day senior officers orientation at Fort Monroe, Virginia.
Members of the Reserve Enlisted Program. After 4 months in one of your training centers, receiving basic combat or advanced individual training, approximately 212,000 of these young soldiers enter the replacement stream to supply Army commands worldwide. The remaining 145,000 return to their parent reserve or National Guard units. Truly, your training centers represent the heart that pumps the lifeblood to the Army's ready forces.
Upon completion of the required 6-week course, new drill sergeants are authorized to don their distinctive campaign hat.
First class Lewis. Sergeant First Class Stout.
Another milestone in their professional military careers, and another moment of pride to be shared by their families and friends. The new drill sergeants are assigned to a basic training company at one of the Army's basic combat training centers.
Gentlemen, you know that the degree of proficiency that each trainee attains during his 8 weeks of basic training here depends primarily on how well each of you do your jobs as drill instructors. Now, we have been discussing the training program for our 2nd week of basic training, and I'm sure that each of you know your individual responsibilities. Now, do you have any questions?
Sir, in reference to Thursday's noon meal, will we eat it on the range or will we truck back to the company and have dinner in the mess hall?
Thursday's meal?
Yes, sir.
We will eat the Thursday noon's meal at the range, and then we will march back. And I plan on departing the range approximately $1,300. Are there any other questions? Mr. Holmes, you're dismissed.
I was as nervous as a recruit myself those first few weeks with my new company, but I remembered what they had taught me in drill sergeant school. And as I began to learn more about the recruits in my platoon, I began to see more ways in which I could help them get off to a better start in their Army careers.
For the more than 350,000 young men who enter the Army each year, basic combat training is a period of transition from civilian to military life, a difficult period for many. But whether they are volunteers, inductees, or reservists in for just 6 months, the Army is genuinely concerned with each of them as individuals about their health, about the cut of their uniforms, and about the type of Army career they are best suited for. Although they are younger, recruits today are bigger, healthier, better educated, usually with high school certificates, and more carefully selected than ever before.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Your date of birth is 20 December 42?
Yes.
You're single?
Yes.
No dependents?
No.
Do you wear glasses?
No.
What did you do in civilian life? What was your main civilian occupation?
Farmer.
You were a farmer?
Mm-hmm.
Did you operate any machinery?
Yes.
Elevators?
Yes.
Large trucks?
No
Any
large
vehicles?
trucks, but large tractors.
Did you operate small vehicles, such as a pickup truck? Or
Yes.
Would you like to be a light vehicle driver?
Yes, I would.
You would.
Beginning at the reception station and continuing to the time they complete basic combat training 8 weeks later, they are under the constant guidance and supervision of their drill sergeant. His job is to teach soldiering. In fact, he gives the recruit the majority of instruction received in basic combat training. He teaches them the new method of hand-to-hand combat, a combination of judo, karate, and old-fashioned street fighting. It's more deadly because it utilizes a man's natural reaction to kick or strike when under attack. There are 12 drill sergeants assigned to each company, 3 to a platoon.
We get to know these soldiers pretty well, each one. We ought to. We're with them from dawn to dusk every hour of the training day. After hours, we're available for consultation, too. This isn't the kind of a job you can walk away from when retreat sounds. I guess you might say that we're a combination instructor, advisor, friend, big brother, training specialist, and even father confessor. We have a responsibility to see that each and every one of these recruits gets through, no matter what his problems are. We feel that if a recruit has difficulty, it's not that he failed to learn, it's that we failed to teach. That's why we keep a close watch on our platoon and help each man all we can.
Yes, Sergeant. All right, good. We're having a little bit of trouble with this written test. Now, I want you to go over a few of these questions and answers for me here. All right, I'd like you to read those questions now and the answers to me.
But sometimes a recruit just needs more instructions. If this is the case, we recommend that he be recycled. That is, put back a week or two.
That's correct, that's good. All right, read the second one now.
Time is the crucial factor in training today.
D, if you are now or were at any time it was awarded.
That's correct. All right, read the third one now.
3, the hint.
There are still some people who have this mental picture of Army basic training as it was in World War I. Or World War II. G.I. Joe had 13 weeks or more of basic then. Today, there's a new look to basic combat training. To accommodate shorter periods of military service, the Army has streamlined the course to 8 weeks. That leaves only 44 training days to turn a raw recruit into a fighting man. Just 352 hours to make a soldier. For example, there are just 12 hours for bayonet, 4 hours for grenade, 8 hours for first aid, and 3 hours for military courtesy and customs. He must also be made familiar with such things as night firing, individual camouflage, and new methods of protection against chemical, biological, radiological warfare. The objective of basic combat training is to develop a disciplined, highly motivated soldier who is qualified in his basic weapon, physically conditioned, and drilled in the fundamentals of soldiery.
Today's recruit needs incentives, just as there are incentives for us to become drill sergeants. This is one, our honor board. We use it to stimulate rivalry between the different companies in our battalion. The competition gets pretty spirited. There's individual competition, too, such as in pugil stick training. This is one place a man gets a chance to use his full strength against an opponent. Other incentives are the rifle marksmanship awards, especially the sharpshooter and expert medals. Every recruit wants to be a hotshot with a rifle.
On the 25-meter range, the recruit learns the fundamentals of the M14 rifle. How to aim it, how to zero it in, how to fire it from the basic shooting positions. The second week of range work is devoted to basic rifle marksmanship. The new system substitutes realistic silhouette targets for the old conventional bullseyes. Finally, the recruit is ready to fire for record. Targets pop up at ranges of from 50 to 350 meters. To qualify as a marksman and pass basic training, he must hit a total of 30 or more targets out of 84. 45 hits make him a sharpshooter, 60 an expert.
In our company of 235 men, we had 108 sharpshooters and 12 experts. Only 3 men failed to qualify. And after a little more help, they made it too. That's pretty good shooting. We like to think that our personal coaching helps the men score better. Our boys did well on their PCPT too.
The PCPT, or Physical Combat Proficiency Test, is part of a standardized series of tests given at the end of each training cycle. The last event is a mile run against time. 5:20 in combat boots is a pretty fast mile. Along with physical training, the recruit is tested on every military subject taught during basic combat training. However, if he fails to achieve the minimum score, he is dropped back for additional training and retesting. In the Army, this is called recycling. If he does extra well, he may be one of the top 20% in each company eligible for immediate promotion and an increase in pay. Another challenge to the recruit is the week he spends on bivouac and on the combat courses. Under safe, controlled conditions, he gets a first-hand feel of what combat is like. For, as a former chief of staff said, the Army no longer has time for combat shakedowns. When we go today, we could go shooting.
When that first 8-week cycle came to an end, it felt sort of lonely. We had a good bunch in our platoon. And I remembered all of them. I remembered the ones who were always first in line for chow. And the ones who ran into personal problems. I remembered the few who got sick. the one who didn't make it. I also remembered the fun my gang had whenever there was a few minutes for relaxation. I remembered seeing them on Saturdays. And on Sundays. I remembered how young they looked that first day. I remembered how proud I was of them yesterday at the graduation review, and how proud they were of themselves. They were soldiers now, ready to go on to advanced training. My job was done. But tomorrow, a new job begins.
The drill sergeant's job is a job being well done, according to this paragraph taken from a letter written and signed by an entire platoon of former recruits.